How do you create something that's different than everyone else? You do it differently than everyone else. Here at Copeland Creative, we specialize in telling captivating stories of wild people, wild things, and wild places. We don't just capture the story, we immerse ourselves in it. We are a diverse, multi-talented media house based in North Georgia, and if you have a story that needs told, we want to help you tell it.
Now we are. What's up, everybody?
We're live.
We are live. Come on, phone. You're killing me.
You ought to name your phone Smalls.
Yeah. Who did I say that to the other day? I was like, you're killing me. Oh, it was one of my buddies. He was asking to go on an elk hunt, and he's kind of wussed out again.
Who?
Andre.
Andre.
I know Andre.
Do you really?
Yeah,
you
know
do.
that I know Andre.
Oh, yeah. I called him on the phone yesterday and formally bossed him out on the phone and talked down to him major in front of one of his coworkers, and his coworker was in the passenger seat just cackling. And I was like, is there somebody in there with you? He's like, yeah, my buddy's in here with me. I'm like, good. I'm glad he got to witness this beat down that you just took because you're being a sissy.
Why didn't he want to go?
Oh, I got other stuff I need to do. I got some stuff I want to do in my house. I don't know if I'm going to be gone that long. Same excuse everybody gives. Literally the same excuse.
How long? Were y'all planning on a 21-day backcountry hunt?
A week.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
You can always make a week.
That's exactly what I said. I even offered to pull my camper out there, so we had a really nice place to stay.
Ooh.
I won't do it.
The personal camper?
The
personal camper?
Yes.
That's definitely not for business.
Definitely not for business. Definitely not. Rara, thanks for the disclaimer. I appreciate that.
Look, I'm just laying a breadcrumb trail there. So if there was ever any question,
well, there are 87,000 new IRS agents coming, so I'm sure they'll listen to this.
What do you have to do wrong in your life to end up being an IRS agent?
Can you think
like how? And 87,000 people did that. 87,000 people took the worst path.
Yeah.
To be a tax collector. Not a tax collector, a tax enforcer. That's like worse, wasn't? Mm-hmm. Who was the tax collector in the Bible? Wasn't it Paul?
No, it was
Peter?
No, because he climbed up in the tree to see Jesus. Oh gosh, my mama would be so disappointed in me. Zacchaeus.
Mm-hmm.
Zacchaeus was a tax collector.
Yeah, Jesus was like, you need to quit that.
Yeah.
That sinful thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
Stop it.
So when are they supposed to start? All these 87,000.
I don't know. They were showing a football stadium that held 82,000 people.
Is that where they're doing their training?
No. They showed a football. They showed a football stadium that held 82,000 people. They're like, all the new IRS agents wouldn't fit in this stadium, and that was scary. It was a scary thought. 87,000. They can't find people to work at Taco Bell. They can't find people to work anywhere, and they're going to find 87,000 qualified people to watch over little me and you for our taxes? No.
I want to know what they're making.
Oh, more than we are, I'm sure. And we're paying for it with the taxes that they're collecting.
Yeah,
for real.
This is not the podcast way I wanted to start this podcast, which we haven't started the podcast yet.
I could derail it because we got to go live on Instagram for
okay.
like 2 seconds.
All right,
so
go.
We can
all right, waiting on you again.
I was here early.
No. Oh, Macy was here early.
What's up, Redneck Tech people? We're live. It's a little early. It's 11:04 a.m. I got here 30 minutes ago, which apparently was late. But we are live on YouTube with our guest Macy and, of course, El Jefe. So we're going to hang out here for like 2 minutes and let people see that we're live on YouTube. And then you can go to YouTube because
it looks way better there.
Don't watch Instagram lives of the podcast because we have like a whole camera over there and good audio with these. And like YouTube is just right there on your phone. It's the same place as Instagram is.
And if you were subscribed, it will literally send you an email. You can click on the thing, you go right to it. Makes it easy.
What was that?
If you subscribe to Redneck Tech on YouTube, it will send you an email when we go live. You click on the link, it goes right to it. Easy peasy.
So why do you even go live on Instagram? Just to reach people?
Just to
tell them that we're here.
Cool.
Cool.
What up? Gonna wave at that person.
Oh, I didn't even know you could do that.
I'm gonna wave at that person.
Here, Macy, you have the phone. She's way better at this
I'm
than
not
us.
actually waving. There's an option to wave at the people who join.
See, you know this stuff. I don't.
Well, that's what we're talking about today. Because
I
Ryan
don't know
and I know we have to have social media, but we hate it, and we're not good at it. I loathe it so much.
It's a necessary evil.
Oh, I know, it's so bad.
Where do you usually put that?
Just here. Well, we're not going to be live the whole time. Just see.
And
This
the
is
fact- and the
this is
fact
another
that-
thing that I hate is you can't do it horizontally. I hate that.
And you can't
gotta
get
be like,
wide enough to see anything, which is made for one
Yeah,
person. I know
am
that.
pretty wide. I know. I know. You didn't have to say it.
Go to the YouTube. Don't hang out here. You should come here and immediately go to YouTube. If I see your name here, I should also see it on YouTube.
Do you want me
I
to send
think.
you the link so you can put it out there on the thing so people can go to it?
I don't think that works.
Does it not work
On the
like that?
live? Not on a live.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Mm. Oh, I've got.
Bensky_10 says, "How is Ellsworth Cooks?"
He's
I mean,
still
you
a
know,
man.
You know, he be cooking.
He be cooking.
Ellsworth do be cooking. He do be cooking some delicious meats. Smoking meats, as the Zuck would say.
The who?
Zuck. Zuckerberg. The Zuck.
He said that they be smoking meats. That's what he
You've
said.
never seen the whole meme of Zuckerberg talking about smoking meats?
No.
Oh, I'll show it to you later. It's kind of funny.
I have not seen that. Didn't know I was supposed to see that.
Desmos Photo says, "What's up, Chuck?"
Can you send me that link?
I can.
Chuck joined. Hey, Chuck, aren't you supposed to be working?
Who's Chuck?
Belmore.
Oh, Belmore. Oh, God.
Thought you were supposed to be working. He's
We don't-
probably just rolling out of bed right
we
now.
don't want him on the podcast.
Yeah, Chuck, you're blocked.
Talk about getting derailed.
Not allowed, Chuck. Go to work. Plumb something. Bensky_10 says, "Hey,
What's up?
you also have to yell because it's
Hola.
the phone audio.
Como estas?
Como estas?
All right. We doing this thing?
All right, guys, we're heading over to YouTube. So if you want to continue watching, go there. I'll post a link on the stories or just search Redneck Tech Podcast on YouTube.
Very easy to find.
And see y'all later. Peace.
All right. Let's do this
I'm gonna
thing.
do a quick thing
Oh,
on my
go
story.
for it. Go for it.
I do not want to share that. don't need to share that. We got 12 people that watched it, 13, which is not that much, but. Oh yeah, everybody can do the links now. I forgot about that.
Mhm.
See, that shows you how much we're on social.
Well, once
It used to be only if you had 10,000 followers and or a
That-
business account you could do it.
those are the days I
I felt
remember.
special, and then they just rolled it out to everybody.
Got 2 people on the live already. The YouTubes.
Here, Caleb, take a picture of the YouTube live with the phone.
Oh, that's terrible.
Aren't you a photographer?
Apparently not. Come on.
First time?
Yeah.
It's rough.
I swear there's like a lag on this thing.
Who picked that picture?
I did.
Was that a good choice or a bad choice?
Yeah, well. I realized you gave me an option, and I said, yeah. It was a good choice. Little pond hopping picture from a few months ago.
Oh, Georgia girl. I mean, you got to do a little pond hopping. Yeah, we're going to talk about that here in a minute. Yeah, early. We are early, Matt. I'm sorry. Macy couldn't be here all day, so we had to do this one early, which is fine because get it done. I can actually get some work done today.
Same.
We'll see.
Because usually these podcasts derail most of our day. So,
Oh, really?
yeah. But this will be good. We'll get it done early. I would rather
Maybe
do
that's
them
what we
early.
need to start doing.
Doing them earlier?
Yeah, it's kind of like the same thing as working out. If I wake up and I go work out, I'm good. But if I'm like, oh, I'll work out later, then I don't.
Yeah.
Because you just get derailed over the course of the day, and then you just keep pushing it further and further and further back, and then by the time it's time to work out, you're like, oh, it's 9 o'clock. Looks like I'm not working out.
All right, let's do the actual
intro,
the actual podcast deal here.
All right.
Stand by.
The Redneck Tech Podcast is brought to you by Mike'sArchery.com. They're a one-stop shop for virtually everything archery, bow hunting, and for your next outdoor adventure. Mike's Archery has been at the top of the archery game for over 50 years, and they want to give listeners of the Redneck Tech Podcast 10% off their entire online store using the code REDNECK10, all one word. Just put the code in before you check out, and your boys will hook you up. The guys at Mike's have always been good to us, and now they can be good to you too. Visit Mike'sArchery.com and get your gear now.
Right here. Yeah. You want it? What's up, everybody? We are live, and you can see we have a new guest here. Mrs. Macy Watkins is here.
Hey, everybody.
As you can tell, Clay and Keegan are not here. They're in Utah. They hopefully are on a stalk for mule deer right now. And, of course, Ryer. Ryer's here. Still here.
Thanks. Thank you. Yes, I am. You can't get rid of me now.
No, we cannot get rid of you now.
I've already
we
redone
love
my
Ryer.
office.
Well, sometimes. Sometimes.
Yeah, let's just start this with I haven't even gotten through my whole morning coffee, and you're already going to take a crap on me. What is this, Caleb?
Ryer, remember
is
what
this
I
about?
told you. If I ever stop giving you crap, you need to worry. Okay?
Okay.
If I'm giving you crap, you're good.
That's supposed to be reassuring. It's not.
So let's do, I'm not going to try and, I know enough about you to probably do an intro, but I'm going to let you do your own intro and tell everybody who you are. Georgia girl, played softball here at North Georgia. I played baseball at North Georgia. You're significantly younger than me, so we're not even going to talk about that. But so who is Macy Watkins?
Well, hey, guys. My name's Macy. If you don't know me, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Like you said, I'm from Georgia. Right now we're filming in Dahlonega, Georgia, at Copeland Creative, which is where I went to college at UNG, and I played ball just down the road. The softball field is less than a mile away.
Throw a rock twice and hit it.
Yeah, and the little dorm that I lived in is even closer to where we're sitting right now.
Oh, did you live, what's it called? Owen Hall? So my wife lived there her freshman year, yeah.
Yeah, it was where all the athletes and honors lived. So being an athlete, I got in there, and then the Steak and Shake opened right across the road. Now it's closed.
I'm real upset that I never got to witness the days of Steak and Shake because I love Steak and Shake.
So were you in college when Steak and Shake was here?
They built it the second year I lived in that.
In Owen?
Yeah.
Huh. What year was that? That doesn't seem like that was that long ago.
Yeah, it was about 2017.
Oh, wow, you're a lot younger than I am then. Oh, let's not talk about that. Yeah.
Kind of got derailed with the intro there. But
That'll happen.
Since my college days, I just moved just in the town over from Dahlonega. I didn't go far, well, which says a lot because I'm not from here. I'm from Gordon, Georgia. It's about 3 hours south. It's in Wilkinson County.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad, but the way I tell people where I'm from, there's only one other person who, and I'm not saying that I've made it, but there's one other person in Wilkinson County who society would look at as has made it, in the public eye, and that is Honey Boo Boo Child.
Oh, wow.
And Mama June, they grew up in the same county as them, and that's where home is.
What is that big festival redneck thing that goes down there? What's it called? Isn't there like a mud boggin something that goes down there? I can't remember what it was called.
Not in our town.
Is it not in your town? Is it like a town over or something? Because it's, I think it's where
Durham town. Oh, we do have a mud bog. I mean,
what's it called? There's a name for it. It's like, I can't remember.
It's in Milledgeville.
Okay, how far is Milledgeville from you?
About 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Okay, so we always played against Georgia College, and that's how I remember Milledgeville. And then, because I went to my freshman year of college, I went to Middle Georgia in Cochran.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, miserable place.
Yeah.
Miserable place. Oh, my gosh. Let's not talk about that.
I was led to believe there would be a lot more mud bogging in the South.
Where did you hear that?
Just life. I don't know. I thought that was a thing that everybody did. I haven't seen it one time.
Well, because it's not
Maybe
smart to do.
Nobody invited you.
Yeah, nobody's invited
Oh,
me.
that's true too.
I thought for sure I was going to come down here and I'd just see like mud bogging around the place.
Yeah,
No.
just on the sides of the interstate, just mud bogs.
I don't know where mud bogging happens. I thought that was a very common Southern thing, and it turns out I guess it's not.
Well, I mean, we did. I did my fair share of it in high school and college, but the thing is, it's really not good for your vehicle, like real bad.
No, I know that.
So it's like once you mature enough to know that you shouldn't do that anymore, you usually don't. But like we used to go off road and stuff all the time, but like trying like seeking out mud, that's usually a bad thing. It's just a recipe for disaster.
I'll invite you to the next one that I hear of.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
So you
I
can
don't.
experience
I
it.
would like to see one at some point.
Oh, it's a redneck fest,
Like I've
buddy.
seen videos of it, but I want to go to one.
Yeah.
'Cause
Good
it
Lord.
seems like fun. Never been. I just
So-
like to experience things.
So
Do I need to tell people what I do now? I kind of
yeah.
just talked about where I've been.
yeah, so that's what I was getting to. I was going to set you up. Like, so we know where you've been. So what are you doing now?
So right now I work in the outdoor industry. I own my own marketing business. I have a lot of agency background. So I worked for an outdoor agency in Gainesville right out of college. Got the job.
You tell she's from
Following.
Georgia because she didn't say Gainesville. She said Gainesville.
Gainesville.
Pointing that out.
Yeah.
Making sure you caught that nuance there. All right.
I don't say it that. I don't say
I-
it the wrong way. I say it the right way, like
You-
I'm supposed to.
Yeah, but you can tell it's a little forced when you say it.
Everything's forced when I say it.
So now you're on your own marketing firm and you manage several big fishing brands and you also have a pretty large following yourself.
So, and around when COVID spiked was when my social media just took off like crazy on TikTok, which I'm sure you've heard of that happening to folks. I was one of them. It just blew up. So put a lot of eyeballs on my content, and then got some sponsors out of it. Did a lot of sponsored content, but what it's moved towards now is I don't have a lot of sponsors because they've all turned into my clients. They see that I have a marketing skill, and they ended up hiring me to do some contract work. So now I just have several clients in the fishing and hunting world, and a few that are outside of that.
Okay.
But it's awesome. I'm blessed, and it's so fun.
I feel the same way. Yeah, it doesn't feel like going to go to work every day, and you get to kind of create your own destiny too, which you obviously do a lot more in fishing than we do. We dabble like very, very little in fishing just because my background growing up was hunting. I mean, I went fishing, I did a little bit, and I've done some pond fishing, but like to go serious bass fishing or to go offshore, like I've done that. I don't think I've actually ever went like bass fishing on a bass boat in my life.
What?
Just never
Really?
have. Just never have had the desire. It's not my thing.
But even in all the years of filming, you've never filmed anything on a bass boat?
I have.
But it wasn't bass fishing?
Yeah, I guess I did.
I was going to say, there's no way that
I
you
did in
filmed for
North
this
Carolina,
long.
in Franklin, North Carolina. We did that. Are those spotted bass up there on I can't even remember the name of the lake now. It was beautiful
likely.
where we were. It was absolutely beautiful. Yeah, but like maybe twice, 3 times. Like not very many times. But I just fishing was never one of those things that really got me very excited. And I guess that's why I haven't ever really pursued it. But like now my little boy wants to go fishing all the time. So I'm like having to not necessarily relearn, but like have to get excited for him, and I want him to have like the whole like paddle boarding or the whole like kayak fishing. Like that's something I can tell when he gets older he's going to be really into. So I'm like, all right, I need to try and either learn this or start to enjoy it or figure out more about it. But I know that's something that you do a lot of. I would say from the content you put out, a lot of it is fishing.
Yes, fishing is my passion, and people come at me all the time and say, would you rather fish or hunt? What do you like better? I'm like, I love both, but like there's something about fishing is my passion. Just when I'm doing it, oh gosh, I'm just so happy. It's a spark that I don't get while I'm hunting, and there is a spark, and I love hunting, especially waterfowl. I say anything with wings I'm just crazy about, but fishing will just always be on top for me. So.
Well, and I can see why people enjoy it. Like, I see why people enjoy golf. Not for me. I understand it. But for me, I think the really big thing with fishing that doesn't get talked about that maybe we can take a few minutes to talk about is the access. Is access to fishing is so much more abundant than access for hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you have family property, your own property, a lease, a hunting club. Fishing just about everywhere you look outside of a farm pond, you can go fish it. You buy a fishing license over the counter, and as far as I know, everywhere that exists, you can buy an over the counter, non-resident or resident, wherever you live, fishing license. Either get a boat or stand on the bank and fish. And the barrier to entry is so low and it's so inexpensive. I mean, we could go to Walmart right now and get everything we needed to go fishing on the reservoir for probably less than $50. Hunting, you just can't do that.
I think we should go get like some SpongeBob poles and see who can catch the most.
There's actually, I saw a YouTube video, believe it or not, my little boy was watching fishing, and that's what they did. They went to, I want to say it was an academy, and they like, here's the cheapest rig we could get, and here's the most expensive rig we could get, and then they went fishing, and they're like, there's not that big a difference. So that was pretty interesting, in my opinion. But
we could do a swap. We'll go with Macy. We'll give you the SpongeBob pole, and we'll have a nice pole, and you'll still kick our butt.
You guys take my gear, and I'll take the SpongeBob pole.
Oh, I'm telling you, that's the one that we bring Chuck on. Oh man,
that actually
have a
really
good time. So, what's kind of your like? Have you ran into that? And since you do hunting and fishing, like, what's your whole take on the access thing? Because I think that's the reason that there's less and less people hunt now, just because there's, at least in this area, out west, it's exploding because there's more access.
Yep. We saw a lot of fishing licenses being bought during COVID. When people were cooped up, they wanted to get out and go fishing because that was when I worked at the agency, and I had a lot of fishing clients, and they couldn't keep their product. They were selling out of everything because everybody wanted to fish.
Bass Pros, same way.
I worked for Plano at that agency, and I currently work for Plano, which is tackle boxes. They also have gun storage and all that stuff. They're big into storage, but they were selling out tackle boxes like crazy. Yeah. Just because people wanted to fish. People that never fished before were buying fishing gear during COVID and all like throughout right now. We're hunting. You're right about that.
Well, the thing is with fishing is it's at its core, especially if you just want to go catch brim or something simple, it's not hard to do. Like, any semi-smart person could go out there, buy a fishing pole, bait a hook, throw it in, and catch a fish. Hunting, you don't just go out and hunt. It's not something that you just walk out the door and figure out. It takes a lot more time and planning and all those things, and there's just so many more barriers to entry into the hunting thing, and
safety.
The comparison I tell people is like, look at the number of DNR agents that are in the state of Georgia. I think it's like 200, 250 for the entire state.
That's it.
Florida has over 700.
Oh,
because of fishing. Because you can fish pretty much in the entire coast of Florida, and then all the inner lakes and rivers and everything else. So they have that many more agents because there's so many more opportunities.
There really is, and that's something I noticed because I've been taking some trips to Miami the past couple of years, and with all the canals down there, that's what I was amazed of. You just walk. I walked the streets of Miami with a rod in my hand, and you can fish anywhere.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Yeah, there's
Did nobody make a video of that?
Oh, I have tons of videos.
Okay,
we just weren't friends then.
Okay,
it was years. I mean, I just went. Actually, a few weeks ago.
Because I was like, that'd be a really cool video to do. Just like
there's
Miami, like a little Miami fishing travel video. That'd be so cool.
I can see your wheels turning. That's the kind of stuff Ryder likes.
Yeah.
Actually, Keegan messaged me when I was down there. He slid up on my story and said,
Keegan, slide in the DMs.
How cool it looked. And I said, I'm sure Copeland Creative can sponsor a trip next year or something.
Yeah.
Do some peacock bass fishing.
We'd have to hit up old Ernie down there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and just stay at Ernie's place.
Yeah.
Just that rat hole that he has.
It'd be a struggle, but I think we can make it through.
We've got a friend of ours that owns a very large house in Miami.
Nice.
I would call it more of an estate.
Yeah, it's
an estate.
Ernie's a worker, but he's done well for himself. But yeah, I don't know. The whole fishing thing to me is, this is gonna make some people mad. But I gotta say,
you already got people mad in the chat.
Oh, I know. I saw that.
They said if there's no bass fishing, might as well end the interview now.
Well, that's kind of my thing. And this upsets a lot of people, but especially people that like to fish.
You say a lot of do you know how many
have
things
a lot
you
of
preface?
have a lot of
You're like,
controversial thoughts.
This is gonna upset a lot of people, and then you say it,
Say
and
it.
it doesn't upset a lot of people.
But I don't fish much because I feel like once you've caught one fish, you've caught all of them. One pulls a little harder than the other one. That's my thought, and they all look the same. That's why I've never really gotten excited about fishing.
And fight.
I just like you catch one fish and they pull on the line, you ring it up and I'm like, oh, this one's 3 pounds, and this one's 2.8.
I think that
They look
applies-
exactly the same.
I think what you're saying applies to you personally.
Oh
but-
yeah, no, it's
but
definitely a
not
personal
to-
thing.
Not to me, because every time another one bites, it's like the first time again for me.
Oh,
and
see,
it just,
yeah.
I don't know if the emotions play into it for me because I just love it so much. But
Yeah.
every time one hits the line, I'm just
I think it's how
I
you
love
were.
it all over again.
I think it's how you were brought up, though. I'm assuming you were brought up fishing.
Mm-hmm.
See, I wasn't. I mean, I went fishing. My dad loves to fish, and I'm sure he would have liked to taken me more than he got to, but he worked all the time. But I grew up hunting because in the falls, my dad wasn't as busy. In the summer, he was slammed, and I played baseball in the spring and summer my whole life. So, I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot of time to fish.
So you know what the equivalency might be? Is to you, every fish pulls the same, but to some people, they wouldn't want to play baseball because every hit's the same once you hit the ball one time, and it's like hitting it every other
that's
time.
blasphemy.
See?
That's
It's
blasphemy.
the same thing.
No, it's not the
But
same.
because-
It's not the same thing.
See what
It's
I'm
not
saying?
the same thing.
Here
I can
now
see
he's gonna
the-
get upset.
I
He's
can see-
gonna go saying these blasphemous
Here's the
things.
thing. I can see the baseball. I can't see the fish under the water.
Yeah, it doesn't matter though. It's the same.
It's not
Once
the
you've
same.
hit it one time, what's the difference? Some
Right.
go further in different places than others.
You're not allowed to talk about baseball.
I'm just trying to put your head in the space to
But
where
here's
you can have
here's
a
my
little
thing.
bit
I think
where
it's
you
this,
can relate.
I think it's the same thing as like horses. I don't like horses. I didn't grow up with horses. Anybody that loves horses grew up with horses. I'm not a fan. But that's not. It's my personal opinion. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying it's my opinion.
I was just trying to
didn't
make an
grow
equivalency
up,
for
like,
you.
as a
all.
hardcore bass fisherman,
Yeah.
though, I
Yeah.
just caught brim at the pond.
But you
My dad and
grew up.
Grandpa.
The sport of fishing was kind of what you did. Yeah. See, and like my dad's told me stories about my grandfather, how he used to, or his grandfather, how he used to, he was one of the hardest workers he knew, but on Saturdays or Sundays when he'd decide to fish, he'd sit on the bank all day and fish. He said, this is the only time you ever saw my granddad sit still. And he said he'd sit on the bank of that pond, a half-acre pond, all day, trying to catch a fish. So he drove up to, it was like Winfield Scott or something, and caught a big cat. There's my dog. She decided to come up here. Come here. Sit.
It sounded like thunder cracking
Yeah.
for a second. It's
Sit.
like, what is happening?
Sit. So he said he went up to Lake Winfield Scott, and she's gonna ruin this. Anyway, went up to Lake Winfield Scott and caught a catfish that was had three whiskers, and he called him Three Beards. So he would go down to the pond. He brought him back, put him in our pond, and he would try and catch him again. And that was his thing. He would try and catch that fish over and over again. And he would sit there all day trying to catch that fish. And he's like, I don't, that's just what he did. Oh, look at her being good laying down. Let's not talk about her. So she'll be quiet. Anyway, she come up here and terrorize us. But yeah, he called him Three Beard, and he would try and catch that fish over and over again. And I just am like, why? He's like, he just wants to see how big he got. See if he got any bigger. Somebody here?
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, Ryder's gonna go check, see who's here. Nobody's called me. Oh, anyway. Yeah, and put her back in the office. Sorry guys, we got completely derailed because of my dumb dog. She was being real sweet in the office until somebody came and opened the door. Somebody's downstairs. Anyway, so let's talk about social media. That's the fun one. Necessary evil. I'm not good at it. That's why Keegan's here. And obviously you're very good at it. So what's some of the changes or some of the trends that obviously, especially on Instagram, because of TikTok, Reels have became like I scroll through my Instagram, 9 out of 10 posts are videos now, like very few pictures. Okay, talk about that. Like why? What's the reason? Are they trying to compete with TikTok? Is it are they getting more engagement from that? Like, what's the deal?
I think it's their opportunity to make money with advertisements and keep you on the app longer, of course, to look at those advertisements. Meaning they get more money and it's more appealing.
Well, you know what's so
Brands
funny to
will pay
me is
for it.
half the reels that I see are just brought over from TikTok. Somebody made a
They
TikTok.
really are. And
Almost half of them.
With my personal content, I try to keep things different. You know, I have a totally different TikTok audience than I do on Instagram.
Really?
It's weird.
How so?
People do come. I've kind of done the math, and about 20% of my followers from TikTok come over to Instagram. So I think I did the math right. I have 300,000, around 300,000 on TikTok, which means I have 30,000 on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always kept up with that ratio. But anyways, the audiences, I don't know, they're different. TikTok, they're very engaged with what I'm putting out. And maybe it's because it's video. If I put on pictures on Instagram, they don't get to hear my voice and, you know, see my personality as much. They're sometimes they're not as engaged. I don't know, TikTok is just, it's weird. I feel completely comfortable just being crazy and just funny and just my authentic Southern self and just putting up nonsense on there. Where Instagram is kind of a bit more polished and, you know, talk about my career on Instagram, and so that's the key differences.
So you feel like Instagram's more of like a formal dinner, and TikTok's just like a kitchen table with the fam.
Yes, and then
why do you think that is?
I feel like I have a younger audience on TikTok.
Do you think you created that though, or do you think Instagram's created that for you, or TikTok's created that environment for you, or is that just kind of?
That's a very good question that I hadn't really thought about.
Because I feel like what we do, just from my personal, like what Cope Creative does, or Copeland Creative does, and what Redneck Tech does, I feel like Copeland Creative, we have it for the simple reason of showcasing our work, who we work with, what we're doing, what we're capable of.
You're talking about social media as a whole?
On Instagram.
Oh, on Instagram.
And we use that as a way to showcase what we can do. So everything that goes on there is super polished, super thought out. Sometimes it's like almost annoying that we can't be goofy and funny and stupid like we really are. Because perfect example, we had two guys come to our class a year ago, and they showed up, and at the end of the first day, they're like, man, I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm so glad that you guys aren't like crazy polished and professional like I thought you were. And I'm like, why would you think that? And he's like, well, just, following your Instagram and stuff, I thought you guys were going to be like super like buttoned up and professional. And I'm like, I don't know whether I should be happy or offended that we aren't professional and buttoned up.
Yeah, that's
wow. But I completely understand what you're saying, because TikTok is like, you almost need to be goofy and funny and off the wall and a little more creative. I feel like Instagram's like got this uniform that you have to fit within.
I hate it.
And then TikTok's like, throw it against the wall and see what sticks.
Yes, that is TikTok to a T. I have to be that way on TikTok.
So what do you think's sticking? What's sticking for you right now?
Right now, the corn song
Humor.
is really going on.
Yeah.
Have you heard the corn song?
I don't think so.
It's really funny.
It's been stuck in my head for 3 days.
It's pretty good.
I'll show it to you. You're going to laugh so hard.
Oh, God, I can't wait. So what do you think's sticking for you right now? And has that changed? What's worked for you? Has that changed over? I mean, you've been doing it for, 2 years now, roundabout? So has that trend changed for what's working for you, or has it always kind of been the same thing?
I'd say the thing that sticks for me is, a lot of people lip sync, do sounds on TikTok.
Yeah.
My video will do well if my voice is in it. So if I'm on there, people just love my accent, and a lot of people say it's fake, but that's what does well. If I'm talking and they can hear my voice, if I say my little phrases that I have, like one of them's y'all catching.
Yeah.
Where like, for instance, if you're on the lake and you see your buddy across the way and you want to know how his day's going on the lake, you're like, y'all catching?
Yeah.
Even if it's just him or her, just one person, you say y'all. It's just a phrase. And then another one that I picked up that people just go crazy when I say it is plum dadgum raggedy.
Plum dadgum raggedy.
I need that on a sticker, I think.
Plum
Trying
dadgum
to
raggedy.
think of more, but I have more that people will just lose their minds over. So just those coined phrases and talking like with my voice, not lip syncing. People love that.
So
and, of course, people go crazy to hear about my job and my lifestyle. People will just beat down the door asking career questions.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that.
So does she have a more Southern accent than I do?
I would say yes.
Okay, thank you.
We're from different parts of Georgia.
But again, he's asking a pointed question because he's trying to make a point.
What's his point?
The question he's continually trying to get me to admit that he doesn't have a Southern accent because he doesn't think he does. Because according to him, he can't have one because there's people with a more pronounced Southern accent than him, which doesn't negate the fact that he has one, but in his mind apparently it does. So every time he's like, oh, did they have more of an accent than me? Yes, maybe, but it doesn't mean you don't have an accent because you go places and people immediately know you're from the South.
Well, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
Can't argue with that one.
Continue on. So
I can see how he derails the podcast, like you mentioned earlier.
I knew I liked her.
That's my job. When Caleb when I applied for Copeland Creative, and I was given the prerequisite packet, is like, do you have experience in derailing podcasts? And I did. I did. You're lucky. When I podcasted with Mark, I used to have a soundboard of movie quotes that I would just lay in there.
Really?
Oh yeah, I would lay in there. And especially because it was when Hillary Clinton was running for president too. So I had like laughs from her and little Donald Trump lines
God,
and stuff.
we might have to do that.
Oh, you can derail something real quick with a Hillary Clinton laugh, let me tell you.
Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 spots that we could put some sounds in.
I would take my iPad. They have a little soundboard.
Oh, no.
And you take your iPad and you can program them all, and then you just run it to the board, and then I could just sit here and just.
We'd never get to an entire podcast. I really wouldn't.
Well, the trick is trying to find the space to put them in. That's the difficult part. You really got to time them. It takes a lot more skill than people would think to successfully derail a podcast.
You are currently with the gold medal right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I completely forgot what I was. Oh, so you've got your couple coin phrases. I don't know if you've ever listened to many of our podcasts or me talk, but I've got an entire list of Southern sayings that I can throw you a couple.
Might could.
That you could use. Might could.
Might could is one of them. That one snuck into my language a little bit.
Good.
I find myself saying might could. I'm like, dang it, Caleb.
Anyway, so you feel like the best content that you put out is when you're being authentic. Amazing.
Yeah, but some people, it's for them, it's doing those little dances, and it's different for everybody. But that's me.
But essentially, what I'm getting at is how important authenticity is, no matter what you're doing.
Oh yeah,
and
that's the key. That's my golden rule. That's just what I go by every day is authenticity, and just gotta have it.
Well, because people see right through it when it's not there. Because we've produced content that was authentic that we got to be a part of, and then we've produced a lot of content that wasn't authentic. That you feel like everything you're doing is forced because we're being told by a client or a sponsor or a host that this is the way that they want it, and we're like, well, this is in no way real or authentic or genuine, and the viewer knows that. There's that little X factor when somebody views something and it's like, do I believe this or not? And if I don't believe it, I automatically write it off, and whoever, the host, the show, the client, whoever, I'll write that off too. And I think that trying to stay true to who you are and authentic, and that's what we try and do with content. And I mean, and it's nice to see that you translate that over into social media as well, just because there's so little of that now. And obviously there's a lot of, I'm sure, young girls that follow you that want to do what you do or want to emulate you and things like that. That's also important because, as we know, the world we live in, this, the hunting and fishing lifestyle that's being attacked every day, especially the hunting side. But
that really guides me in my content. I remember I was at ICAST 2 years ago, and this man came up to me in the booth, and I didn't even know who he was. He never even told me his name, and I was busy, but he tapped me on the shoulder because he just had to tell me. He said, I follow you on TikTok. My little girl watches you, and I'm so glad that you're a good role model for her. She loves you, and comments like that just keep me going. They guide me in what I make. I would never do or post anything to disappoint that young girl.
Yeah, well, there's
and a golden rule that I've always went by that my parents had told me: don't post anything and don't do anything if you wouldn't be comfortable with your preacher. See?
Yeah, well,
So,
You're one of the few that does that, because we all know that there's the other whole subsection of TikTok that is not that.
yeah, it's
and
bad.
It's bad. It's real bad, especially for a guy with 2 little girls, and a little boy that will see it, one day. Because you can't keep him away from it forever. But like, it's a whole different world. Like TikTok to me, and I know just enough to be dangerous about all this, so bear with me. But like, TikTok changed the game. When did TikTok come? Like, when did it start?
It was started as an app called Musical.ly,
Which was right
which was a
right near the end of the Vine era.
yeah.
Which I would say Vine.
But
kind
wasn't
of
it
kicked
for
off.
aspiring artists?
Yeah, Musically was like it was not the TikTok we know.
But it developed into
Yeah.
TikTok. And
Yeah, Musically was like, it was the lip syncing. Like that was how it started, was the lip syncing.
See, I never heard of Musically.
And it was a very particular type of lip syncing, because it was like, I never had the app, but it like did it slower. Like I guess you recorded it
I never
slower
had
and sped
Musical.ly.
it
I
up.
just know that's what it started as.
Yeah. It started as that.
I was
and then it
probably
went
in
to
high school
TikTok.
or something.
Well, now there's one called Vero. Done anything on Vero
There's
yet?
Be Real. Be Real is kind of big-ish right now.
Well, so Peter McKinnon put his thing out about Vero the other day, about how now everything on Instagram is sponsored or this, that, and the other, and it's not, you can't get engagement, you can't have real conversations, nothing's about the followers anymore, nothing's about like the true community. So he's like one of the big pushers of this Vero, to try and get people away from Instagram and go to Vero. I've created an account. I don't know anything about it. I didn't know if you knew anything about it.
No. What's
it
its key
VERO?
selling point? No sponsored content?
Yeah, no sponsored content, no ads.
Yeah, they
If
say
I
that.
remember right, that's what it was. I'm trying to pull it back up. So here's the app here. Vero True Social is what it's called. It's really clean.
Yeah.
But like Peter McKinnon, and it's a really good place to showcase work as well. That's kind of obviously what Peter McKinnon does. But I don't know. I follow a couple like movie producers and like HBO, House of the Dragon. Ryder, did you watch House of the Dragon first episode?
I haven't even seen any of Game of Thrones.
You're so terrible. Anyway, so I didn't know if you knew anything about that one. Have you done anything on Be Real?
No.
I hadn't even heard of that one.
I think I've heard of that one in the last
Gosh,
couple of weeks.
we don't need another one. I don't want another one.
Yeah, I don't need another one.
So what's your take on Facebook? I'm going to let Ryer sit this one out until after, because I know what his take on Facebook is. What's your taste? What's Facebook's value now?
I think it's kind of antiquated. It's kind of just going out. It's on the way out.
Well,
Other apps are on the way in.
some of the things that I've read and researched is like it's still the best place to sell products. It still pushes more products than anything.
Yeah, I could see that from a brand's perspective.
Do you think it's because the age demographic's older?
Yes.
Because I feel like
money to
because my
spend.
mom is on Facebook and my dad is on Facebook. They're not on anything else.
Yeah, I'm thinking right now. My clients, they do run a lot of Facebook ads.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's one of their main strategies. So I think it's a good place to still see pictures of your friends and your relatives and.
That's the only reason I have it, is to keep up with
their
like family and
dog
friends.
and-
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, Ryder, I'll let you talk now. You've just been sitting over there shaking your head.
Facebook's terrible. I hate Facebook a lot.
I don't care for it because people just post whatever they do on Instagram onto Facebook, and why do we need a duplicate platform?
Yeah, I know.
Well, I feel like I like Instagram because I feel like people at least kind of curate Instagram a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not a full believer that you just need to put your entire life on a social media. Like you should be curating it a little bit. I don't need to know
But
everything.
people don't put their entire life. They only put the best of the best. It's only their highlights.
On Facebook, I see a bunch of bullcrap, and you're like, that. No, nobody needed to know that. You didn't need to.
Well, that's
say
always
that or
old
put that.
ladies about the Baptist church that somebody stole their
I think it's just
broccoli casserole recipe.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's stuff like that that's on Facebook.
That is true.
Like
That
I don't
is true.
necessarily see that on Instagram. So on Facebook, it just feels like 80% spam between ads and bullcrap about people's life that I don't need to know about.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you said, all the stuff that I would want to see is already on Instagram. They just migrated over. They post on Instagram. It goes to Facebook. So why put up with the 80% bullcrap when I could just go to Instagram?
I have Facebook for Marketplace too. I buy
You are
stuff
bad.
on Marketplace
You are
all the
bad
time.
about that.
I am. I like Marketplace a lot because
just-
Craigslist is trash now. So
I'm
Facebook
just
Marketplace
gonna
is where
start
it's at.
sending you things that I want, and be like, "Hey, Caleb, can you?"
I'm a
search
deal finder,
Marketplace?"
man.
I know.
I'm a deal finder.
I know.
I am. I don't like paying full price for things. I don't. I just don't. But yeah, so have you? What's your take on Twitter? Because I do that much on Twitter.
Twitter is so overwhelming.
I used to be really into Twitter, especially when I was an athlete, and then there was a short time where I worked with athletic communications, like I told you about here at UNG. So one of my duties was to sit at games and tweet sport updates from all the games. So that's when I was really big into Twitter. But right now, I just go on if there's like a big crisis in the United States, and I go on and see what people are saying about it. But other than that, I do not care about Twitter.
See,
It's just one big fight on there.
Oh yeah. Well, I was trying to explain to my mother and my dad the other night why I don't watch the news, and they're like, "Well, where do you get your news?" I'm like, "I get it from social media." Well, from where? I'm like, "From everywhere," and they're like, "That doesn't make sense to them. Like, how do you know about this thing? Because something came on the news, and they're like, "Oh, Caleb, do you see this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I knew about that yesterday."
Half the time, the social media knows it before.
Oh
the
yeah, and
news
then that's what
outlet.
she said. She's like, "Well, how did you know about that yesterday?" I'm like, "From social media." Well, where? I'm like, "I don't know. I saw that like 19 times."
It's like when Will.
And she's like, "But from where?" I'm like, "Well, I don't remember. There's like 97,000 people that put that out yesterday on different, whether it was Facebook, whether it was Instagram, whether it was TikTok, in every kind of way. You can go in and read comments. You can get different perspectives." I was like, Fox News is going to tell you one thing, CNN is going to tell you one thing, and they're going to repeat it every hour on the hour until something else happens. I'm not watching that.
That's me with current events or anything really. If I'll watch the video or I'll read the post, but where I really spend my time is looking at the comments, seeing what everybody has to say.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I read. Anytime I want to know more, I read the comments.
The real joke.
And
is
the real
always in
joke
the comments.
and the
The
real
comments are the best part of social media, especially
Yes.
on TikTok.
Those
Oh,
comments
man.
are great on TikTok.
It's better than the original content.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The stuff those lunatics have to say online.
Well, that and it reminds me how
Those
creative I'm
lunatics.
not. When I see some of these comments and things that people do, I'm like, I wish I was that creative to have thought of that, because that is the most that answer, like where that answer came from, is amazing to me, and the way people say things and what they compare them to, and like on the scale of 1 to Hillary Clinton, like things like that. Like I love stuff like that. Like that's what gets me. That's what makes me laugh. Like the kind of crap that you send me,
Oh, here. it
not a
goes.
fan.
He,
It's not funny.
He doesn't like the absurdity TikTok.
Yeah,
He doesn't
they're
like
not
any
funny.
Absurd TikToks.
I don't.
He's from the other generation.
What's an absurd TikTok?
I don't even know. He sends me stupid stuff that I know he's sitting there like doing that about, and I'm not. I'm like, that's not funny.
Now I will be honest. I got some weird crap on my TikTok feed, but that's because I'm a weird guy. So
I do too.
So sometimes I see something that's way out of left
So,
field, but it's
Going
super
back to our
funny.
original conversation, if someone follows me on Instagram, I'm like, if you really want to get to know me, just head on over to TikTok and you'll
Well,
see it.
That would be that's a really good segue or question. What is the kind of content that you like to consume? So not the kind of content you like to make. Like if you're going to seek out something to watch or look at, like what is it? What's your kind of maybe even like guilty pleasure, like that you like to watch? My wife likes to watch like stupid like trash shows, like the Desperate Housewives of whatever.
Have you seen Love Island?
No, and I'm not.
That is the trashiest. That's the
Like-
trashiest dating show, and it's really funny to watch because they all have these ridiculous British accents. And my favorite thing is how they mic them up. They don't even try to hide the mics. They have like a necklace that they clip the mic to and a strap that they put the mic
Dang.
on. It's
So-
the cheesiest thing
Yeah,
I've
I'm
ever
not
seen in
into
my
that
life.
show
Oh yeah, well,
or any of those kinds.
so like mine, I just started Succession on HBO Max because I bought HBO Max for the year because I want to see House of the Dragon, because the fact that you haven't seen Game of Thrones is appalling to me.
Well, I was about to watch it. Keegan said he's got it all on. He's got it all. I can't say where because,
IRS.
just the IRS. But he said that he was gonna help me watch them, and then I never got the help.
I
that
can give
needed.
you my login and you can watch them in full quality, however you want, because you need to watch them. Like you need to watch them.
I need to get through Ozark first, and then
It's 8 seasons. You gotta get going. It's a lot. It's a lot to consume. But like that's kind of my thing. I like really well done either dramas or like very good storytelling series. Like that's kind of what I like. So what's the kind of things like, or maybe even a better question is like, where do you draw your inspiration?
On social media, I like looking at people that, you know, obviously have the same interests, like fishing, especially fishing and hunting. But I like watching people who, I guess, take you into a closer look at their lives or, you know, the products that they're using. I guess that's the marketing person in me. But when they, like, go through all their baits or their tackle storage or organization of their boat or their garage, I'm really into that.
So you're like an organization, one of those organizational people.
Or if they
Do you watch those those pantry organization videos? Do you like those a lot? Those are pretty good. I like those.
But even okay, a guilty pleasure, I guess, on social media is I love outfit of the days. I love looking at those girls
you're a girl,
that do the OOTDs. Like I just think that's wildly entertaining. But yeah, I'm a girl and I do like clothes.
Yeah, well, that's I would have assumed that one, but that's
but not just outfits, like gear hauls.
Yeah.
You know, I love the idea of just making content around gear. Like I love my gear and all the products I use for hunting and fishing. I love showing that stuff off and using it and wearing it out and just, you know, repping my clients, of course. But I like when other people show me what they use and what they use it for, and you know, just stuff like that.
See, I get on. I like I'm a gear nut. I mean, which anybody in this job is a gear nut, and I'm always trying to figure out a way to be 1% better at your job. Like, how can is there a piece of gear? Is there a service? Is there an app? Is there something that's going to save me time or make me more efficient? Like, that's kind of where I nerd out. And then I'm trying now to where I'm kind of in business development. Like, what are some things that can help us make more money or be better at this or save us some time here? And so that's kind of where my
Cine Primes.
That doesn't save us money. Not at all. That costs money.
We'll make us some money.
Oh, Ryder.
I think I've always just been into products like outdoor gear because I've always had to know a bunch of products like the back of my hand. Like when I worked for the agency that I spoke of, I had to know these products so well. Things like ammo, bows, blinds, baits, like tackle boxes, everything. I had to know the specs and just because I had to push it to the media, and I just had to know it very well. So my whole career has just been centered around having to know my stuff when it comes to products. So I enjoy gear hauls and just
What's your experience working with marketing people in the fishing industry?
That's such a broad question.
Well, I can give you mine for the hunting industry. It's terrible, and they're mostly incompetent.
Are you talking about the media?
No, the marketing agencies or the marketing managers for big companies.
Yeah, you go first.
They're generally like catching the Easter bunny. They're usually they don't know much about the products they're selling or trying to sell. They're very number oriented. They know nothing else other than numbers. And they're like catching the Easter bunny. They drive me insane.
I feel like also
and I want to shake some of them and say, why are you so bad at your job?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I had a lot of hunting and tactical clients.
Almost all of ours are hunting, but yes.
And in the past, I didn't have a lot of fishing clients. So I'm with you. I had a lot of hunting and tactical clients. Catching the Easter bunny is a good term to use.
Yeah. Because you're not gonna catch them.
Yeah. Yeah. Some clients are very hard to pin down. I don't mean to say anything bad because I really enjoyed my time there. And enjoyed those relationships that I got to make with cool companies. But they are hard to pin down, but that's why they hire the agency.
Yeah, here's my thing. I am controversial statement. I am tired. I'm tired of people using "I'm busy" as an excuse. Everybody's busy.
I try to never use
if
that.
You're not, unless you're a piece of crap, you're busy right now. So I'm tried my best. I'm the same. I'm like, I'm not using "I'm busy" because I know whoever I'm trying to call is busy too. But nobody's as busy as they say they are. That's what drives me. That's what drives me insane. Oh man, I'm so busy. I'm just swamped. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You've had time to email me back or call me back. I know you have. Because guess what? I had time to call you back, and I'm very busy myself.
I just think it's
it just gives me.
I'm gonna start saying that to you all the time.
No, you're not. I told you the other day you can't use ADHD as an excuse anymore.
No, you didn't say that.
Yes, I did. I was like, you're done. ADHD's out the door. You can't use that as an excuse anymore.
I'm cured. I can feel the ADHD leaving my body. Wow.
Oh
How did it take so long?
Just it took some management, Ryer. That's what it took.
All I needed was Caleb to say it's over. ADHD is no more.
Healed.
Yeah. Do you need to rub some mud on my eyes or something?
Exercise the demons.
Can you try the mud on my eyes next and see if that one will work?
Gosh, man. But yeah, I've had
Where were we?
just marketing people.
Busy.
Busy marketing people,
right.
excuses,
Well,
all
here's
the
the
fun
other
stuff.
thing that I feel like I find oftentimes with some of the marketing people that we work with is I don't really feel like they understand their audience. They don't understand who they're trying to sell to. And because they'll be like, hey, we want this, that, and the other. And like as a creative, I go, well, that's not really going to appeal to who you want to sell this product to. Like that's a good corporate video, but that's not going to make anybody who's actually buying the product excited about this product. It's not going to make them want to go buy it. They're not going to share it with their friends. Like it's not. I feel like there's a disconnect oftentimes between, that marketing person and their audience, and they don't really quite understand what makes their audience tick or how to reach them and appeal to them. And I think that's oftentimes what's frustrating on the creative side because, I know that I'm not a marketing person, but I feel like I have an understanding of kind of what appeals to people and what the general audience might like or get excited by. And so then you try to present, okay, well, what if we do this thing? You're like, oh, no, we got to do it this way. You're like, well, now you've just made a video I don't think is going to sell.
Yeah.
It's not going to land.
I had a friend of ours send me a video for their company that somebody else did, and he's like, I want your take on this. And he's like, don't hold anything back. And I'm like, this is horrible. I was like, I don't know what your company does. I am more confused after watching that video as to what you guys do than I am afterwards. Like it was one of those just like very graphics heavy, like in your face, pop, 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 words, pop, 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 words. And I'm like, I don't know what happened. Like, do you do shipping? Do you do logistics? Do you own an app? I don't understand. And he's like, yeah, that's exactly what I said. It was so confusing. But it's all in the messaging. It's all in, there's just so much to it.
Well, I'll speak on the fishing industry if you guys care to know what that's like.
Heck yeah.
100%.
And it might make you want to get more into fishing and get some fishing clients because the marketing directors and the marketing teams that I've worked with are pretty amazing on the fishing side. Hunting and tactical, I actually do agree with you. And I don't mind shouting out the companies because I have something very good to say. For example, Plano that I've worked with, probably my longest client that I've had at 2 different jobs. I've learned more from their marketing director than any 4-year university could teach. Spro, I used to work for Spro, who's also owned, not owned by their same companies own Gamakatsu, which is hooks. Gamakatsu, those people are the most in-line folks you'll ever meet. Like, they are so dialed in. I used to work for Spro. They make crankbaits, frogs, lots of baits. Learned so much about fishing and marketing from those guys. And then, of course, present day, working for Pure Fishing, which, of course, those brands, Abu Garcia, Berkeley, those guys are just on a whole different level when it comes to marketing. They got it dialed in.
See, I'm not even heavy on the fishing side of things, but even I know the name Abu Garcia. Like, I know that name. And I associate it with high-end fishing gear.
Yeah. And then lastly, Native Watercraft, kayaks. I work with those guys over there, and just amazing what they have going on with their marketing department and just the leadership over there. I've learned so much from my clients.
What do you say is maybe this is a loaded question too, but like, what do you say in terms of marketing when it comes to fishing? Why are they so good? Is it because they spend money? Is it because they have a plan? Is it because they answer the phone? Like, what would you attribute their success to?
Yeah,
if you could,
organization and communication.
Organization, communication. Oh my gosh. That makes me happy to hear that somebody actually does that.
Did we just become best friends?
Well, it's one of those things to where I don't understand why hunting companies don't do that, and why hunting companies are 10 years behind, where I feel like, most fishing companies are up with the times.
I feel like they're on the beat.
Yeah, they've got it figured out. Which fishing's so much more modern than hunting in most aspects, because there's a lot of technology in hunting, but you think about fishing. Think about all the GPSs and sonars and all the stuff that go into this big time fishing stuff. Not only are the electronics and things so expensive and technologically advanced, well, if those things are, so do the rods and reels and the baits and everything else that goes along with it. Like, one thing can't be lagging behind. Whereas in hunting, really the only technology advancements we have is, Sitka's designing some really good clothes. There's some cool trail cameras, and there's some apps. That's about it.
I feel like also there's a different mindset. I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, you've worked on both sides of the industry. I feel like the fishing industry and people who fish are much more apt to encourage and accept technological innovation and progress. Whereas in the hunting industry, sometimes that's seen as a bad thing. Sometimes innovation and progress can be seen as straying from tradition.
I can see that.
And so people pull back on it, which is why the hunting industry may feel a little antiquated, because people are actively trying to stop.
Doesn't feel antiquated, it is.
People are actively trying to stop that, because to them it represents a departure from tradition. Whereas in the fishing industry, I don't feel like people have that same mindset. People always want the newest, the best, the coolest, the most advanced thing.
Yeah, every bass fisherman I know has probably got at least a dozen different tackle boxes, all full of bait, half of which they've never opened or used.
But you might need that one bait in one
and
specific
next time they go to Bass Pro Cabela's Academy, they're gonna buy more every time. But think about when you go to buy a bait, like, how much is your average bait? Like, get a crankbait or spinnerbait.
Like a hard bait, around $8 to $10 average.
Yeah, it's an impulse buy. It's like, oh man, that one looks good. Let's try that one. $8. I mean, name something in the hunting world that's $8 or $10 that is useful like that. AA batteries to put in your trail camera. I mean, that's about it.
Casey's breakfast pizza.
Exactly, breakfast pizza. It's a whole different game. And then when you talk about the access and you add it all up, like, I know there's got to be so much more money in fishing, and the margins have to be so much better. And the season's year round. I mean, you can fish something year round. Hunting, there's I guess there's some stuff to hunt year round, but in the summer, people don't think about hunting. Early spring, late winter, people aren't thinking about hunting. They're thinking about something else. It's kind of a seasonal thing, whereas fishing, there's ice fishing, there's offshore fishing, there's fly fishing, there's bass fishing, there's you name it. There's always something that you can go fish.
Yeah, there's always a different bite going on.
Yeah. It's fascinating to me, just the differences, and I try and learn them. And like I said, I don't know a whole lot about it, and I would like to, I would love to dip our toe in that water, because I think it sounds very appealing now, knowing that the marketing people are fun to work with.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're just talking about our own experiences, and there's some in the fishing industry that don't have it together, and there's some in the hunting industry that are on top of it. But
couple. We've got a client now in particular that's actually on the gun side that is awesome. Mm-hmm. She's awesome to work with, and I told her that. I'm like, you are a breath of fresh air to work with. I'm like, she's no BS. It's black and white. She communicates. She answers the phone. She does everything she's supposed to do. She does a great job. She's very passionate about what she does. She wants the company to grow, and I'm like, that's the person I want to work with, And I don't know, is it the same in the fishing industry? Or is there so much turnover in marketing? Because in the hunting world, there's so much turnover in these marketing people.
There is a lot of turnover and just switching around within brands.
That's what I'm saying. That's what happens. Why is that?
I've worked with the same people at several different brands, it feels like.
That's making sense.
And honestly, I'm that way too, because I used to work for a lot of brands at an agency, and then people see me, with another group of brands, and it's.
Huh. I never have figured out
I'm part of the turnover.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I've just never seen that as why and how is that advantageous? But I guess it got all to do with relationships. I mean,
relationship. Yeah.
Well, that's something too. Well, how important have relationships been in what you're doing?
Networking has been the key to my success.
Same here.
I could not even be here without it.
100%. What do you feel like is what's some events? What are some things that you've gone to or done, or some places you've put yourself in that you feel like were very beneficial? Like, are there certain trade shows, are there certain events, certain tournaments, certain whatever?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I put myself out there on social media, and I'm not afraid to do that and portray myself in a good light. But early on, I volunteered a lot with DU. I was in the Ducks Unlimited chapter here in college at University of North Georgia, and that's what kind of got me, in the mix of things. And then when I went to apply for that job out of college, in the interview, my boss, he really wanted to hear about what I did for DU. So that was a catalyst in, getting that job, that volunteer experience. And, further in that conversation, I remember I was at a DU banquet. It was in Atlanta, like downtown Atlanta. And it was the Gwinnett chapter. And I was on the state board at that time because I volunteered in college. I had a position on the state board. They're volunteering for the night. It was a very swanky type banquet. Businessmen coming into that banquet. Some don't even hunt. They just wanted to be there to win a hunt for their staff or something. But I was there volunteering. And, I've always told people, don't be afraid to go up to the most important person in the room, shake their hand, tell them who you are and what you do. So I got wind that there was a guy going to be there. His name was Hunter Johnson, owner of Blue Otter Polarized. And I said, well, I would love to get his business. He seems like a cool guy. Went straight up to him and said, hey, I'm Macy. He's my client today under a different brand called Redfin Polarized. But Blue Otter at that point had exploded in the country music scene and the outdoor scene. And, I mean, if you think just the stepping stones, being in college DU, being on the state board at DU, being at that banquet that night that I didn't have to be at.
And it was all volunteer. You didn't get paid for any of that?
Nope.
Yeah.
And but now, get paid by that client, of course. And the things and the opportunities and the relationships that client has brought me is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I could tell you about it all. It would take a while. But, you start doing one thing, and then it just branches off, and you get all these opportunities just because you weren't afraid to go up to somebody and say, hey.
Well, I tell people that, too, like, all the times. Like, the worst thing I can say is no.
In fact, he did tell me no.
Yeah.
It took a year or so to reconnect with him and get his business. I was persistent, and he's a friend of mine today. I got a text from him during this podcast that I need to reply to. So, yeah. So stuff like that, volunteering. Trade shows are obviously big for me because I go to every single one of them at this point.
God, trade shows are
they're exhausting, but, I'm a social butterfly at trade shows, out there working hard for my clients, but also, maintaining that personal brand and making good relationships for myself too.
Yeah. Well, very cool.
Networking counts.
Networking counts, man. I'm telling you, that's been key to a lot of my success too. And I wouldn't consider myself a social butterfly, but I can talk to people. I don't have a problem talking to people, but I'm not somebody that will go seek out somebody usually. Like and I've been lucky enough now to know enough people to where if I do want to meet somebody, I know somebody that can introduce me.
Exactly.
But what we've tried to do is just kind of let our work speak for ourselves, and then try and be in the right place at the right time and do a good job and answer the phone. And networking's and obviously is very important for what we do in the relationships. Like, I couldn't put a value on the relationships. Like, some of the people that we've met and people that I call friends now, it's like, I never would have thought it. And like you said earlier, like, I couldn't be more blessed to be able to do this with the people I do it with. And not just, client wise, but even Ryer, I like him a little bit. I'll keep him around. And I'm blessed to have the people here in this office. No.
What's the time code? What's the time code? I want to keep that one.
So, which I tell people all the time, I was like, man, I'm just a redneck from North Georgia. Like, this isn't rocket science. It's not. It's just answering your phone, do what you say you're going to do, be a good person, because, which I know this too, which on the fishing side, I'm sure it might be a little bigger, but on the hunting industry, it's a small group of people that are movers and shakers.
Oh, it's so small.
And if you screw up and screw the wrong person,
you're done.
You're done. 100%. So, keeping your nose clean, doing the best job you can, being honest with people, like, it's not hard.
Really
which
not.
I'm sure, like you, had a really good upbringing, good parents, things like that taught you those things. And that's why I am the way I am. I had really good parents. It's not because of me.
Yep.
It's just I'm scared of my
Good
mama.
raising.
I'm scared of my mama with a belt. She'll still do it. She's tried. She tried the other day. She was mad at me. So I didn't tell her I had to go to the doctor. She said, "You tell me you had to go to the doctor. What did the doctor say?" I'm like, I'm 35 years old. She's like, "You tell me right now."
HIPAA violation.
Oh, yeah, I know. Exactly. But no, we've been at this in 4 seconds, a solid hour. So anything you want to talk about, Ryer? Did we miss anything?
I was just going to ask, because we have a lot of advice for people trying to get on the content creation side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this could be a short 2-part. But, like, not being in the marketing side of things, I know that's a whole other side of the industry that is a career path and a viable career path.
It all connects, though.
What would you, so if somebody wanted to maybe go into the marketing side of things, what kind of advice would you have for them? What kind of things should they be doing or educating themselves on, and what should they be doing to try to get to that point?
Or more importantly, what
Mhm.
should they not be doing sometimes? Because a lot of people, it's not what you to do. It's like, hey, look, you're doing everything you need to do, but that one thing that you're doing, you shouldn't be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So what's some of your advice for that?
Well, I could write a book on the question that you both just asked me. I could say a million things, what you should be doing and what you should not be doing. But like I said, like my volunteer experience with DU, I honestly don't know where I'd be without what I did for DU, because so much branched off of that, like job opportunities, clients, trips where I met clients, trips where, I made content that went viral and grew myself. Like, it's crazy. Just being in organizations that can, that you can put on your resume.
Mm-hmm.
And even at an early age, like I started doing that at when I was like 19 in college. I was at DU banquets serving drinks behind the bar, and now I'm gonna film a episode of DU TV this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's how far volunteering and putting yourself out there can get you. But other than that, I think you should just develop a skill set of what you like to do, whether that's doing content or me, I manage a lot of social. I'm really into marketing, affiliate marketing. So just growing those skills and being familiar with what you're trying to do. Like, do your research, educate yourself, and own your craft. Other things that you should not be doing. You got to keep a clean social. If you're going to be in fishing, the bikini pics aren't going to cut it for you. I'm going to sound like a woman hater saying that, but
I'll say it if you need me to.
yeah. But, I've worked with several brands that, I used to be in influencer management, and, I had to hire influencers for a lot of fishing brands, and they said, can't do the bikini pics.
Yeah.
Like, don't bring me anybody. And I feel bad saying that. Somebody's going to twist my words when I say that, but, just painting yourself in a good light, putting out good content that's wholesome and clean.
Yeah. Matt, our buddy 42 Pros said you have to have a 5 to 10 year mindset instead of a 5 to 10 week mindset. Things are going to take longer than you think they are. And I think that's a lot of people think that
That's very true.
they should take, they should do one post or make one phone call and they should, it should be done, career made. It's like, no, it's not how it works.
Mm-hmm.
It's a grind. It's a daily grind. Like I volunteered to film people for 2.5 years before I ever got a chance to work with anybody for free. It cost me money. I had to drive all over creation and buy my own gear and, just to network, just to meet people. Same type of thing, and the fact that nobody wants to work for free at all to start out to get experience, it kills me. It's like, look, it's not that I don't want to pay you, but you don't have a skill set yet for me to pay you.
Mm-hmm.
So if this is a skill set you want, then work for free. Prove to me that you can learn, that you want to do it, and then maybe you will get paid in the end. I did that. I did it for 2.5 years.
Exactly.
Most guys now or girls aren't willing to do it for a week or a month. I did it for 2.5 years. I had a full-time job and I volunteered all the time. Same thing. If you want it bad enough, you'll find a way to do it.
Yeah.
There's no excuse.
When I got my dream job at that outdoor agency right outside of college, most people don't know that when I interviewed, I actually didn't get it, and I had to wait for another open spot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I applied as a graphic designer, which is what my degree was in, also communications, but I didn't get it. He was like, we've chosen to go in a different direction. but I was persistent, and you know, God obviously opened something up in his mind to say, let's hire that girl. So, so I eventually made it. So
That's awesome.
you know, it takes time. It takes persistence. Like I said, with that client of mine, the sunglasses client.
Yeah, but that's
took
two.
years.
But that's 2 times you were told no, and you didn't quit.
Yeah, and you can't be pushy with folks. You know,
Yeah.
you just gotta be charming and persistent, and you know, things will work out.
Well,
If you
Devin
want it bad enough.
Degenhart wants you to do some more cooking with Macy's on TikTok.
Devin's on.
Yeah. Oh, Devin's always on. He watches every
Oh,
one of
yeah.
them. Yeah.
He wants to do some more.
Devin is OG.
He said some more cooking with
He
Macy
said he wants
videos.
more cooking with Macy on TikTok.
You
You've
know,
been
I've
cooking? You've been cooking on
okay,
TikTok?
I love to cook. It's so fun.
She ain't cooked for us yet, has she?
Neither is Clay. Everybody coming up here, oh, I like to cook.
I like to eat.
I
don't like
do
to cook.
both.
I
I'll
like
do
to
both.
eat.
I'll
I don't.
cook
Yeah,
and also
I live
eat.
alone, so it's really just for myself. But
What's your
yeah, I
What's
just
your signature dish?
you know, I cook a lot of Cajun food. I've spent some
Okay.
time in Louisiana, and
I
I
love
just
Cajun food, man.
Put it on a
I
cracker
usually
doodle.
do Cajun Thursdays.
Cajun
So-
Thursdays.
And
Now,
I
that's a
love
theme
to
night I've
I
never
love to
thought
cook
of.
breakfast.
Cajun Thursdays.
Yeah.
I'm a
Thought
big
it was-
fan of theme nights.
Thought
Taco
it was
Tuesdays.
Thirsty Thursdays.
Yeah.
Cajun
But
Thursdays.
you could do Thirsty Cajun Thursdays.
And I love to grill. So something that came through my social media blowing up is I got a grill sponsorship
Yeah.
with RecTech. Have you ever heard of them?
Oh, yeah, that's a Georgia
they're out of
company.
Augusta.
Yeah.
But my RecTech, it's a pellet grill for those who don't know, and I will be out there on my porch just grilling away every night of the week sometimes.
That's awesome.
It's so fun. So I love to grill. Devin, I got you. You will be seeing some cooking content soon.
Yeah, Matt and Fishing with Fitz all say they'll see you at ICAST 2023.
What's Matt?
Matt Postel, I can't remember how to
Okay,
say
got
Postel?
it.
Postel.
I do know Elliot though. Fishing with Fitz. That's my friend. He's a fishing creator as well.
Yeah, he's been on here commenting a bunch of stuff. So, yeah, we've got a bunch of comments.
Oh,
Yeah. Anybody,
Sweet.
I guess we'll hang out for like a minute longer.
Yeah.
Anybody has any questions, throw them up
I know
real
there were
quick.
some questions earlier, but we were in the
Oh,
throes of conversation.
What was the
so
questions earlier?
Somebody asked if there was quotas. The Mr. Bird Dog asked, does marketing have quotas to meet?
what does he mean by that? Do you know?
Yeah, I didn't
have to
understand
ask
either. That's
him.
why I didn't ask it.
I mean, I guess it would probably be like, are there sales metrics? Like, are there goals and
can't-
sales metrics that you are trying to meet?
Well, you know, I do a lot of social media management for some clients because they love to contract that stuff out and get someone that likes to do it, which is me. And I do have quotas. Like for Abby Garcia, post 5 times a week, every week. Some brands like Plano post 3 times a week. So
Is it more
that's an
content
example
quotas
of
and not so much
content
engagement?
quotas. Nope.
Like
Okay.
content delivery quotas more
Yeah.
than like X dollar amount sold quotas.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so content quotas, yes, but that's the only example I can think of.
Mr. Bird Dog also, like, in the middle of the conversation, wanted us to ask how you thought the discussion was going. Did you? Now that we've kind of wrapped up the conversation, how would you assess the conversation as a whole? Do
I
you think
really
it went
liked
well?
it. I think we dug into some deep, important topics, but there's so much more we could
Yeah.
talk about.
Oh, yeah.
too.
Well, that's
'Cause,
why we
I
have
mean,
a podcast. We can talk about this once a week. Otherwise,
I
we'd be here
know.
all day.
These are thoughts that I have every day, and I never really say them. So I'm glad I'm, getting this opportunity to talk about marketing and social media.
Yeah. Well, it's for you now being kind of a one-man band. I know you have other people you work with, but like being by yourself, that was what was really hard for me in the beginning. Was I didn't have a team of people around me to be able to bounce ideas off of. Like, hey, I had this idea. Is this good? Hey, what's this edit look like? Do you like it? What do you think about this show? What do you think about this trip? And it was by myself. So I was like, okay, everything's on me to say, I think it's good, but does the viewer going to like this? Or, I think, even for you doing marketing and having strategies or ideas, like having that team around you, which I'm sure you do, that was the one thing that was hard for me is like I had people to reach out to, like my wife and, some friends of mine around here, but like professionally, other people, peers that could say, that's really stupid. You shouldn't do that again. Or I really like this idea. Could you do this, that, and the other? That was something that it was really nice when Ryer got here and then with Clay and now with Keegan. Now we've got a really cool team that we can all bounce out because Ryer tells me I'm stupid daily with something that I did.
Caleb doesn't like to bring me in to look at his stuff.
I don't. So I just don't edit anymore. I'm just making him edit now.
We're to the point now where I'm very nitpicky. He had me come in and look at a website build he was doing, and we restructured the whole thing.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Ryer only gets called in when it's like emergencies.
That's fine.
Wow.
I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that.
Well, that's all I got. Anything you want to add? So where can
Yeah.
people find you on social? I know I was supposed to ask that earlier and I forgot. So where can people find you on social media?
Of course, TikTok, it's Macy.Watkins. On Instagram as well, Macy Watkins 14. That's really the only platforms I do. I do have a Facebook. It's my name. And, yeah, that's about it.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for coming in.
The real fun is on TikTok, though.
The fun is on TikTok. All right. That's all I got. Ryer, you good? You good?
I'm good.
All right. Deuces.